Good morning. This is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. Continuing to see the cloudy conditions around the area this morning. We did have a few showers pushing through since the last briefing, and most of that activity is now moving out of the local area. We'll continue to see a slight chance of isolated light shower or light sprinkle as we move through the next 2 hours before things dry out. Likely for the next several days. We'll keep temperatures not far above what they are now. We're currently sitting around 60 degrees. We'll see high temperatures in the mid-60s today. We will see some slightly breezy conditions building in with a chance of seeing a wind advisory. Looking at the current surface analysis, this boundary that is pushed just through the area now with some showers riding along it. Again, those showers just lifting out of the local area. High pressure going to come in and dominate the forecast for the next couple of days, and really we'll see the Bermuda high kind of take over from there. Keeping things fairly quiet as we move through the weekend and extended forecast with return of some quite warm conditions as we get into the particularly the later part of the weekend and into the next work week. But take a look at the current local radar picture. We could see that shower activity that was pushing through over the last 2 hours now off to the northeast. We do have a few light radar returns just off to our west along a kind of the actual boundary pushing through, and we could see a light sprinkle or maybe a light shower from one of those light radar returns pushing over the area, but most likely we'll see things remaining dry and continue to be dry as we go into the afternoon. If we zoom out, look at the composite radar as well as the visible satellite, we see we're still socked into clouds there. We do have some breaks in the cloud cover over the region, but generally after this, what's left of this boundary pushes through the area, we'll see winds picking up out of the northwest and north-northwest, and that's going to continue to funnel some cloud cover over the area as we go through the afternoon as well. We could see a few breaks here and there, but generally expecting mostly cloudy conditions for the next 24 hours. We'll take a look at the high-resolution model for what we can expect. As mentioned, picking up pretty good on the shower activity pushing out, and you can see some of those light radar returns being indicated on the model along the actual boundary itself, again, between now and noon, and then that should start to push out with that boundary, and we'll see those slightly breezy winds, but you'll see mostly cloudy conditions continuing with a brief period of some partly cloudy conditions this evening, likely underdoing the clouds a bit through the overnight time frame, but we'll see some cloudy conditions building back in tomorrow as we'll have an upper level low kind of working its way out of the area. If we zoom out here and look at the European model, we can see that upper level low just over the area to start today on Friday, and it continues to slowly move out of the area. That's going to keep things slightly breezy with that surface low still off to the northeast, and it's going to keep things likely cloudy with that upper level low overhead. So we'll likely see another mostly cloudy and somewhat cooler day for our Friday with temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, and then as we go into the weekend we see that pooling out, and then the high pressure sets up just off to our southeast and east for the remainder of the period here, and that brings in that southerly flow that's going to bring in those quite mild temperatures. Could see temperatures possibly hit 80 for Saturday, maybe struggling to hit 80 with some southerly breeze. It will be slightly breezy, and then as we go through the remainder of the forecast here, we'll see those temperatures at least in the lower 80s, possibly into the mid to upper 80s at times. Excuse me, and then generally expecting dry conditions for the next several days as well. Late Sunday, we will have a few pieces of upper level energy kind of tracking through the region. We'll see that late Sunday, some showers popping up mainly off west of the Chesapeake Bay, maybe across the northern part of the peninsula. But here locally at Wallops, we'll have a fairly minimal chance of seeing any precip. Similar conditions for Monday afternoon as well. As you can see, some shower activity popping off to the west and maybe an isolated shower north of Wallops. But we should see, again, pretty minimal conditions or minimal chances of seeing a precip here for Sunday and Monday. And then generally Tuesday is looking dry, and as we get into Wednesday and possibly more so into Thursday, we will start to see a front approaching the area, potentially bringing some rain chances late Wednesday into Thursday, but still a little far out to really narrow down the timing on that. So as we look at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we have dropped our precip risk this morning For the remainder of the morning, down to a yellow risk as we move through the 12 local time, and yellow risk for reduced ceilings with any shower activity. Again, just a chance of an isolated brief light sprinkle or shower with that boundary pushing through. And we will see those winds picking up out of the north-northwest to northwest as we get into the afternoon. So that's when we introduce that yellow risk for wind advisory criteria. We'll see those winds gusting between 20 and 25 knots, so can't rule out a chance of seeing a wind advisory at times as we move through the afternoon. Generally mostly cloudy conditions with our ceilings likely sitting around 3,000 to 5,000 feet, and then maybe a period of breaking those ceilings as we get into the later afternoon and first part of the evening before clouds build back in, likely seeing a ceiling continue around 7,000 feet and then dropping down to 3,000 feet as we move through the early morning hours of Friday. That we're going to see our high temperature peaking around 66 degrees, low temperature bottoming out around 50 degrees for Friday morning. And we will see those winds settle down a bit overnight, keeping a slight breeze out of the west-northwest, and then they'll pick back up once we get into the daytime hours for Friday. Tides are running normal. As mentioned, Friday we'll see some slightly breezy conditions. Good chance of seeing a wind advisory for Friday as well. And again, those mostly cloudy conditions likely continuing at least through the first half of the day before starting to see those clouds breaking later in the day. High around 68 degrees. In the upper 70s, maybe hitting 80 for Saturday. Another slightly breezy day. It does look like we'll stay below wind advisory criteria. Generally mostly sunny conditions helping to warm things up. And then we're into the 80s for the remainder of the forecast here, right around low to mid 80s as mentioned through the entirety of Sunday through Wednesday. Keep a 10% PM chance of an isolated shower for Sunday and Monday. Again, that doesn't look very likely, but with the activity around the region, it's not impossible. So as we continue into next week, we'll continue with the partly cloudy and warm conditions, and then some increasing clouds possible late Wednesday with that boundary potentially moving into the area, and have increased to a 20% chance for precip late Wednesday, depending on the timing of that front as it moves into the region. That's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15 and 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.